Dear students, welcome to the lecture 4 of Introduction to Programming course. Today we are going to work with arrays and lists. We will work on multi-dimension arrays as well, or jagged arrays. So I am going to compose our today's project. Okay, create new project. Okay, today we continue with console app.NET Core, and let's select our directory. Lecture 4. Okay, so what is an array? Arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. So with arrays, we can store multiple values in a single variable. Okay, it's important. You will get the idea as we work on that. I have added this link as a comment. Okay. We can continue with the examples here. So to declare an array, define the variable type with square brackets. Okay, this is important. Define an array, we use square brackets in front of the type of the variable. So variable name is cars and the type of this object is string. So this is going to be a string array. It is one dimensional. If you hover your mouse over the cars, it says local variable string array cars. How do I understand it is array? From here, you see, this square brackets means that it is a single dimensional array. Okay. To insert values to it, we can use any array literal. Place the values in a comma separated list, include curly braces. So we have defined this array, but it is not initialized yet. It is declared but never used. I'm going to paste this. Okay, currently with this way, let's call this as cars2. You see when you hover over it, it has a some line under it, green line. That means it is never used. Okay. So cars2 is both declared and initialized with the values of 4 cars, Volvo, BMW, Ford, and Mazda. I can print each of these cars to the screen with a single line of code or multiple. So to do that, I need to loop through cars array, or I need to print them to the screen one by one. Let's first start with one by one, so you will understand. How to print BMW to the screen? We need to access the second element of cars2 variable. Okay. Every Arrays or lists or enumerable variables in C# starts index from 0, not 1. So to access the first element in the array, I need to write the index 0. So console write line. To access the second element of cars, I am using this notation. So this is accessing the second element of the array, and this will print BMV. Let's try it. Okay, as you can see, it is printing BMV to the screen. I can also prevent this information to be printed on the screen. How can I do that? I'm going to write readline command. The command window will wait until I type something and hit enter button. Okay. So I will run it again so you will know it. You see, it is waiting for my command. I can type anything, and when I hit enter button, it will terminate the application. Okay. So how do we define array? We define array like this. We can define any kind of object as array. I will show that. Yeah. Okay. So this time I am going to define integer array. Okay. And let's say it. And arrays are initialized at the beginning. Okay. The size of arrays cannot be changed later. And let's see if it is written on here. Okay, this is access, change, array length, group. Okay, let's continue. So this time I am going to set it as like this. New. See, it will show me what to choose. Just 13. Okay. So now I have defined an array with 13 storage. You can also define like this so you will know it. So I am going to check this with a debugging mode so you will know it. Okay, I am going to put a breakpoint here. Okay, interesting. And then I'm going to start the application. Okay, so our application is at this point. I'm going to go with step over. Okay, you see it has jumped over this. Why? Because this variable is declared but never used. So basically it is null, as you can see. And when I step over, you see now the cars2 is initialized. It has 4 string parameters, as you can see. The 0 indexed, the first index, the index 1, index 2, index 3. And currently the screen is empty. And when I step over, I see that it is printed on the screen. And array 5 is currently null. and array null is also null. These are nullable objects because arrays are struct, let's say, okay, so when I run this line, it will initialize it as empty. You see arrays are taking value 0 by default. Okay, and this will compose an array with 32 values, each one is 0. How string is initialized? Let's check it too. Why it is not? Okay, now it is auto-completing. There is autocomplete feature of Microsoft Visual Studio. Control space. Okay, let's try control space. And this time I will just initialize by 10. Let's see how it is initialized in the program. Okay, step over. Card is currently null, and when this line is executed and the software goes to the next line, it will be initialized. Okay, so the card is initialized with 10 storage. However, each value is 0 because I mean null. Because by default, if the object you are using can be nullable, it is by default null. Okay. However, if the type is not nullable, if the object type you are using is not nullable, it is by default 0. We can see that all classes are nullable actually, and all structs have default values. You see, this is struct and this is class. We'll see about them in future. Don't worry about that. So this is by default null, and this is by default 0 because this is a number. Let's make some more examples. For example, let's make character array. Equal to new. I'm going to make it 10 length. Okay, so character is read-only struct. So I am expecting it to have a default value. Let's see it. I'm going to put the breakpoint here this time. So the application will run until this line and will pause there. Okay, sometimes this happens on my computer, so I close the application and restart. Okay, so let's check the character array. Okay, you see, by default, it has this character. Okay, this character. Let's print them on the screen. How am I going to do that? I'm gonna do that like this. I'm going to do it. We can just type one of them like this. This will print a zero indexed variable value. And let's do this as well. And let's do this for string as well. 1 second, I am going to pause for a moment. So, default value of a string array. And let's see what will be printed to the screen. So default value of string is null. Therefore, it is printed as empty. Null value is handled by console write line method. Okay. So the default value of int array is 0, and the default value of character array is, obviously it is also empty character. Yes. So the default value of empty character is being empty character. Yes. Let's see more information. Okay, there is more information here. So character is this one. Probably this is empty character, translating as, let's check the United States. Okay, so this page is default values of C# types. Okay, so any reference type is null. Any built-in integral numeric type is 0. Any built-in floating point numeric type is 0. So let's see them to have more information. Integral numeric types are these ones, the numbers that doesn't have a floating point. As you can see, u long, long, u int, int, u short, short, byte, s byte. So this is int 8, this is int 16, this is int 32, and this is int 64. So floating point numeric types are float, double, and decimal, and they all get 0 as the default value. Default value of boolean is false. Default value of character is empty character, which I believe. Oh, this is Unicode character null. Okay, let's check it. Yeah. Okay, so this is also equal to null. Yeah, that means there is no character. Okay. So default value of enumerations is the enumeration expression itself. Default value of struct is null. Any nullable value type is null. Okay, there are some examples. Okay. So this is null. That means there is no character. This is 0 because it is integer numeric type. Floating point types are also same. So let's I will put it here. Language reference built-in type default values. Okay. So this is how we access certain value of arrays. And how can I change values of arrays? I'm going to show you this one. For example, I want to change the sixth character of the array like this. Sixth character is index 5. Okay. Equal to F. Okay. So when I print this array, the sixth character will be printed like this. Equal to 5. Let's run it. You see the sixth character is now F because I have set its value like this. And to read its value, I am using like this. This applies to everything. And I can, for example, define an integer array like this. And so this will also work. However, I need to put it like this. Otherwise, it cannot know I am having an integer array or not. You see? So this is number 2 because the index starts from 0. Okay, let's make it first, for example. See, the first character is starting from index 0. Okay, so then let's print the length of arrays. To get the length of the array. Okay, so what does length return? That's the total number of elements in all the dimensions of the array. Okay, so since my array is a single dimension, it will return me the total number of elements in the array. Okay, so let's print both of these. It says the first number of my array is 32 and the length of my array is 5. So this is, since this is a single line, single dimension array, okay. So I can also get the maximum and minimum of the array. I will show you that. 1 second. Okay, so that we can get maximum and minimum of the array with extensions that arrays have. How am I going to do that? I am going to do that like this. So see, this is extension that IEnumerable objects classes have. So this max will return to me maximum value. There are also some inputs. For example, I can provide a comparison function. Okay, I'm going to just say max in my array 2 and the minimum. Okay. And when we run the application, so the maximum number is 1255 and the minimum is 12. And we use this for string. Let's try it. Okay, it works. And in this case, what will it return? Do you think? Okay. Let's check it out. Probably it will sort by name. Okay. So the maximum value in the cars2 array is Volvo. Why? Because if you sort them by name, biggest first letter having keyword is Volvo. Okay. And the lowest key starting letter starting word is BMW. So let me show you what I mean. This is Volvo and this will be, let's say, Volvo X. Okay, and let's say MW0. Oh, I need to close it. Close this one. So you see the biggest one is now Volvo X. However, the smallest one didn't change. So let's make it like this: 0, 1, and 0, 0. And let's try it. You see, 0, 0 is smaller than 0, 1. Why? Because checks every letter. You can think the letter order as numerical numbers. So it starts checking from here, first letter, and orders them by first letter or biggest and lowest one. Okay. And it checks the next letter, and then it checks the next letter. It checks all letters. And this is being the sorting of the arrays. Okay, I am going to, when I sort these, yes, I can sort them. I'm going to show you the case. Okay, first let's start with string join. Okay, string join is a method. It is extension of string class. Okay, this is method of string class, and it takes several options. What I am going to use is I'm going to use a separator. Okay, this separator will be this, and it is going to take an array. Okay, you see params object values. It can take any parameter object, and I am going to provide this. So we will see how cars 2 is what is cars 2 composed of. Now I'm going to add this one. I can alternatively use these as well. If I put dollar value inside in front of it, I can add this as like this. Okay. So right now, when I put the dollar value in front of the string here, the curly bracket inside this string becomes special character, and with curly bracket opening and closing, I can put directly to values inside it. Okay. And if I want to use this as a regular value inside this one, I can make it like that. If you make it double quote, this will become a regular curly bracket value. And if I put one more time, let's make it like this. Here's one, so you will understand it better. Case 2 and case 3. Okay. So I am going to put one more time. You see now the inner one has become special character and this become regular character. Okay, let's see what they mean. Actually, I will go step by step so you will understand better. So I am going to put a breakpoint here and run the application. Okay, step over, step over, step over. Okay, so what will string join do? String join will take each element of this array and merge them or concatenate them with this string. Okay, so it will be will become like this. Let me show it. Currently it is null, and at the next step it becomes like this. You see, Volvo and Volvo X and BMW 01 and BMW 00 and Ford and Mazda, and they are separated with this. Okay, this special string that I have provided. And let's print them on the screen. So we are printing the first case. Okay, so first case is printed like this. Okay, you see each value in the array is merged or concatenated with like this. Okay, and let's go to second case. In the second case, the application frozen, so sometimes this happens. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. The second case, it will be treated as a regular character and this will be printed, you see. Now, this string object has become a literal, not a string object, has become a literal character set, a string and printed like this. You see? So if you use double of this character curly brackets, it becomes regular character. Only when we are adding dollar sign in front of the string. Okay. The third case will be, I'm going to pause again. The third case will be like this. Okay. This is really simple. Try at home and you will fully understand it. Instead of string join, what could I have done? I could make it printed like this. But this is equal to what I will show you. This was equal to this 0 plus this, and then plus this one. Okay, let's copy this them. Okay. So the first element, the second element, third element, the fourth element, and the fifth element. How many elements or values it have? 6. And the sixth one. So this line equals to this line. Okay. So let's make it like this. Now, so this is better way of explanation. You see, this is equal to this single-lined command. Alternatively, we can use something else as well. I will show you. We are going to use for loop. For loop means we are looping through the elements of an array of an IEnumerable object with indexes. It is so simple. So how for loop is working like this? I am typing for and it is showing me 3 snippets. Okay, but I am going to write one by one. I want all for keyword starts with an opening parenthesis and a closing parenthesis. And it is taking first the starting seed of the loop. So the starting seed will be equal. Why? Because my array is starting from 0 index. Okay. And this starting seed will be this for loop will loop until I have enumerated all of the elements of the array. So it will be like this. Length. And I am putting a semicolon after each definition. And at each step, it is going to increase the seed by 1. Or alternatively, I will show you alternative writing as well. So now we have a loop. Okay. And let's hide our loop screen. Okay, so this is the for loop and takes 3 parameters. First parameter is the seed. Second parameter is the if-else case, when will the loop end, and the third parameter is the seed operation, what we are going to do with seed. Okay, so I'm going to put a breakpoint here to show you. Okay, so the seed is 0 because even if it is not executed yet, the integer default value is 0, and it is going step over step. You see, we are at the next step right now. Okay, and it is checking whether starting seed is smaller than site here. Okay, the site here, the value here is 6. So until the starting seed is equal to the 6, it will continue to execute this loop. And you see after this step, it has moved to this step, not here. This will be executed at the end of the loop. And when I click the next step, it is coming here. These are printed on the screen. And when I click step over, you see the first loop is printed as for looping, and currently we are starting seed equal to 0. Okay. And then it will going here. So the seed number will be increased by 1. Okay. So continue. It is checking here whether the starting seed is smaller than this or not. If it is smaller, it continues. Print. Okay. But I have some problem. I am going to execute again. Okay, so I will hit this time continue button, and it will continue to execute until hitting next breakpoint. So it has printed the first loop, and it has printed the application is frozen again, which is extremely unexpected. Okay, you see it is typing one by one, but there is a problem with my Visual Studio. It should not happen actually. This is a better description. It freezes but not crashes. Okay, this is not the case we want. Let's not just spend more time with this. So when the starting seed becomes 6, the loop will end and it will not continue. Okay. But I wanted to show you that. I'll try again. Okay, so the starting is seed now 6, and it is checking whether starting seed is smaller than this condition here, which is R2 length, and it is 6. So since it is not smaller than this one, it will be it will stop the for loop. Okay, you see it will stop here. And when I continue, you see it has moved to this line and it stopped. So how can I use this for loop? I can use for loop like this. I'm composing a empty string. You see, you need to compose an empty string to sign it like this. Okay. So this means plus equal means that variable equal to that variable plus something. Okay. So I'm going to make it like this. Cars certain index plus will be like this. If length. Okay, so this is the if statement, and this will be executed like this, so you will understand it. If the left side of the comparison is smaller than the right side, will enter inside of if. And where is the scope of if? It is here, starting from here and standing here. Okay, so this is the scope of the if statement. I'm going to make it as this one. So at the end, version 2, 3 will be equal to version 2. And let's put a breakpoint here and run it. Actually, let's run it step by step again. Okay, so cars joined version 3 is empty string at the moment, and it has added first value of cars 2 by index 0, because our starting seed is currently 0. So it is taking the first value of cars 2 and appending it to this string. And if starting seed plus 1 is smaller than the length of the cars 2, I'm going to add our separator. Okay, so it is added. You see now it is Volvo empty character and double dot and empty character. What was the calling of this? One, I'm going to pause a bit. Okay, so it is adding an empty space, a colon character and empty space. Let's continue to execute. Okay, so this is the string version 2 after adding two value of the array. You see the first value and the second value is added together, merged, and the seed is currently 1 and it continues, and the seed is currently 4, continues, and seed becomes 5, continue, and it will check whether the seed is smaller than length or not. You see it has added all 6 elements of the array to the string, and since seed becomes 6, it is not anymore satisfying this condition. It is not anymore smaller than the cars 2 length. Therefore, loop ends. Okay, so you see, with this way we can obtain this string join effect as well, and we can make this work like this. For each, there is also for each command. It also starts with a bracket and ends with a bracket. For each is even better. Takes each element of the array and goes to the next array. Okay, so I'm going to make it string and I'm going to say in array name. Okay, so it will read one by one values inside our array. Okay, you can use these methods with every kind of enumerable objects like arrays, lists. What's enumerable object if you wonder? This looks like advanced stuff for life. So just um, ignore it. So it is going to print every value of cars2. Okay, we're going to get. Let me show you what I mean. So we are going to print the outputs. And then I'm going to type some more text so you will understand better. The home, you repeat every one of these steps so you will understand better. Otherwise, you cannot learn. Okay, do all the coding yourself. It will, the software will execute until this breakpoint, and we are going to see the output. Okay, so the first output value is Volvo, then the second output value is Volvo X, and then third one is BMW01, and the fourth one is BMW00. And this is the same order as the items inside that array. The fifth one is Ford and the sixth one is Mazda. So for each, you can, let's say, make a guess from its name as well. Iterates values inside an enumerable object, a list or an array. I can use this compose string joined version 4. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it right now with this way. Equal to plus. However, this will add an abundant this one to the end of the string. Let me show you what I mean. There will be extra empty character and a colon at the end of the string. And okay, so this is going to compose the end result like this. You see, we have an extra colon and two empty character at the end. So how can I remove that? I can use a counter to decide whether adding this value or not, like in for statement. Let me show you that. So we are going to remove it. Smaller than Then okay. So and I need to increase the counter each time. Let's try this way. Okay, we still have it at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check it like this. And this will solve for each problem. You see? You see with for each and with for and with string join, I have obtained the same result. Okay. There's also one another option to show you that way. That's fun. This time I'm not going to use counter. I'm just going to add it like this. And since I know that there will be extra string at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use equal to substring method. Substring method takes starting index and gets the rest, or takes starting index and the length. Okay, so starting index will be 0 and the length will be negative. The length of this string. Okay. So what is going to do? What will this do? Let's run in debug mode and see. Okay, so the SR joining version 5 is equal to this one. Length of SR cars joined V5 is, you see, 48 characters. Length of this string is 3 characters. I am going to start from first letter of this string and take 45 characters. So it will become like this. So this is the last way. We'll see every one of these features in the future lessons. Future lessons. So if you are not understanding what we are doing at the moment, don't worry. We will pass each one of them in the future lessons again and again. However, try to do your home to understand better. Let's give a simpler example of substring method. So I am going to show substring it results. Start with this will let you understand better. Okay. Let's put a breakpoint here and run the application to see each case does what. Okay, so how many characters do srname have? It has 3 characters. Why? A, B, C, 3 characters, 3 letters. And what is this substring 0? Substring 0 means A, B, C. Why? Because it is starting from the first index and getting the rest of it. So first index is A, and from first index it starts and gets the rest of it. Substring 1 is, it is starting from the index 1, which is B, and gets the rest of it, so BC. So substring 1 and 1, which means it is going to start from the first element, the index B, and it is only going to take one character. So it is only going to take B. So substring 1 and 2 means it is going to start from index 1. It's going to get 2 characters, so B and C. So substring 2 and 1 means it is going to start from the index 2, which is C. I'm going to get 1 character, so it is going to get C. And this means it is going to start from C and going to get the rest of the characters, and there is no rest of the characters, so it's going to get C. If I change this to A, B, C, D, you will see how it is changing. Okay, now it's changed. A, B, C, D, B, C, D, B, B, C, C, and C, D. Okay, so play with it at home and try different ways, and you will understand it better. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So we have seen arrays, accessing array, defining array, for each loop. And let's try sorting arrays. Okay, so since we know our array is like this, I'm going to show you again. And let's compose 100 character integers having array. How can I do that? I'm going to clear the console here. So when this command is run, it will clear the entire console. And I'm going to write a notice message here. Let's run the application. You see console is cleared. So how am I going to generate an array that contains 100 random numbers? So let's start with generating a random number. To generate a random number, I define a random object from random class. I have to initialize it with new keyword. Okay. And you see it is random. Okay, now I have a random. Then I am going to find a 100 array list. How am I going to do that? Filter in 100. Okay. And this array will have all zeros, right? Let's see it. Okay, you see they are all 0. Let's print that array to the screen like this. For separating, I'm going to use this one, \n t. This is a top character, special one. The object is this one, and let's print it. Okay, I'm going to put here a new line. Okay, how am I going to do that? I'm going to environment new line. Alternatively, I could have put \n, which I will show. Right. Okay, so this is my array. You see, they are printed as with top characters. Okay, so for loop, I can assign every element a new value. Okay, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to do that like this. For how did I write it automatically? When I type for, there are 3 code snippet appears. You see 4 code snippet for each code snippet and for an code snippet. So this is the reverse for loop. So it says tap twice to insert 4 snippet. I am going to tap twice, tap, and you see it has automatically generated the code snippet for loop. And I'm going to define my array index. So currently you see the letter I is highlighted. When I type something, it will be changed. I'm typing IR array index. When I hit top button, it will replace the remaining naming. You see, okay. And I'm going to set the case where I will end for loop. Okay. So case will be length of array. You see these length and these length are different because C# is case sensitive. Therefore, okay. So now I have a for loop. Therefore, I can access each element, each index of my array. And I can assign a new random number to it. So let's first try a random, first generate a random number to see how we do that. See, there are options next and next double and next bytes. Each one generates different randoms. So I'm going to use next, and by default, it will generate me a random number between 0 and 2 billion. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so when I run it, I will see that on the screen. You see it has generated this random number. And to make it look better on the screen, I can format it 1000 separator. I'm going to add and 0. Okay. We'll make more examples about this. Okay. After I shown you random number addition. So I'm going to assign random numbers to my array like this, accessing each value with index and let it set my random number next. Okay. So each value in the array will be assigned to a random integer. Let's go step by step to understand it better. Okay, so every value in the array is 0 by default of integer value. I'm going to access the first index, which is 0 at the moment, and let's step over and let's see the first number. Okay, you see now it is this number. Okay, so I'm going to step over. Okay, so we are going to assign a new random value to the second value in the array. Why? Because our index is 1, and when I step over, you see the second value of the array is modified. And when I continue, see now the third value of the array is modified. When I click here, it will continue the execution to here, and I have to remove this. Okay, now you see everything, every value in the array has a random new value. Okay. After assigning random numbers, and to do that, I have to compose this sprint again. So this will assign a new value to the srprint variable, and it will override the previous value. The previous value will be lost forever, and I don't put string definition in front of the srprint again because already defined the local variable here, so you can't define local variable here with the same name again. Okay, or I can't make like this because this is already defined here. So this is a strong typed language. Therefore, I have to use it like this. And when I run the application, you see the array is at the beginning all 0, and after I have assigned it random numbers, it is like this. I can set the mean and maximum of random numbers to be generated. So I'm going to set it as 0. 1 second. 0 between max value should be, let's say, 1000. Okay, let's make it 10,000. And when I run it, so we will be able to read it there. Okay, so these are all random numbers generated. I am going to add a 1000 separator. So I can, let's say, show them better. How can I do that? To do that, I have to write a LINQ query or generate it with another method we had. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste our methodology here. Let's say I'm going to use this version. I'm going to copy paste it. And before starting sprint, I'm going to make it like this. And this time my array will be like this. Okay, I am going to remove this and I'm going to change variable. This is currently a bad practice of coding. I should have made this into a method, but we will see methods in the future lessons, so don't get confused at the moment. I'm going to change the array names, and I'm going to change sprint, and this time actually what I am going to do is like this over t, and this will be to string with and 0. Okay, so let's parse it on the screen. Let's call it differently. So I'm going to make it like this. Without 1000 separator formatting, and this will be like this. Oh, I'm going to make it here, and this time it will be sprint. Let's see how these changes they look. Okay, so this is the raw int of the assigned random numbers you see without 1000 separator formatting, and after I format them, they are printed like this. It puts a comma for 1000 separator because my computer language is currently set as English, and therefore it puts comma. In Turkish it puts dot, or depending on your language it may change. Okay, so you see now they are more readable to human eye, and this is how we let's say uh, assign variables to the arrays and print them or make manipulations with them. Then I am going to sort my array. Okay, so how am I going to sort my array? It is so easy. I click and I'm going to say I'm going to use array sort. Array is the class name. You see, it is system framework class, system library class, and we are using system library namespace here. And it has sort method which sorts the element in an entire one-dimensional array. It returns void, therefore it will be automatically sorted without reassignment. Okay, and I'm going to compose print again. This time I'm going to write a link queue, so it will be easier. How am I going to do that? The string join expects me to provide a IEnumerable list. You see, system collections generate IEnumerable. Therefore, I am going to use a link queue. We will see them in the future lessons. So just know that this is called as link queue, and to string and 0, I am going to put it like this. Sorting, and sort is by default ascending. Okay, so this is going to sort the array by ascending. And let's see how they are looking after the sorting. Okay, let's check it out. So you see 234, 109, and then it goes as increasing. You see they are already formatted like previously, and I have formatted them with the single line with link queue addition. Okay, this is called as link queue, this part. And you see it is sorted and formatted. It looks very well. I'm going to show sorting by descending. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that with this way. First, I'm going to sort. Then I am going to this reverse. So first you are sorting by ascending and then you are reversing it for descending. This line is actually not necessary because we have already sorted here, but I'm going to keep it to make you understand better. I'm going to call this again. And let's make it like this. And let's try it. Okay, you see now it is starting from the highest number and goes to the minimum number. So you see this is the exactly reverse order of this one. So array class doesn't have ascending or let's say descending sorting, and you can use this method simply reverse. Okay. So are there anything else? Once the array is initialized, you cannot change how many elements it has. Okay. Unless this, let's say for example, this will not work. Okay. This will not work. This will not work. When I run the application, it will throw an error. Let's try it and show you. Okay, the error happened. You see, index was outside the bounds of the array because the array can hold up to 100 elements, and index 100 means the 101th element of the array. Okay, so this will be giving error. So what else I can do? I can reinitialize this array like this. And now I can have up to 101 element. However, this time it will be all zeros. Let me show you. You see now they are all zeros. And now I can use this. So reinitialization worked for arrays. Let me show you. Because I have to assign a number. You see now it works. However, I have lost the previous value. So what else? What can I do? I can compose a new list instead of this and copy the elements between them. Let me show you. Uh, the correct word. So to not lose previous, I'm going to define an array like this. And it will be 101. And can it get from the previous array? I wonder. Like this. No. Okay. And what options do I have? Perhaps I have copy. Oh, copy to. Okay, so I can do like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy to this one. And okay, I have to provide next. Like okay, now works. So it will start from 0, first index, the first value, and then it will copy rest, and then I can assign my second array 100 like this. So I will be keeping the previous values. In this case, let me run the application to show you. So the second array is having all the values of the first array. Okay, the first array was this one, you see, and the second array is this one, you see, and the 101 element is like this. So this copies, this method copies these elements of this array starting from 0 to second array. Okay, so let me take some notes. Okay, and okay. Mm, so this reinitialization works for every kind of object, not only for arrays. Of course, they have to be the same type. So I cannot make it like this. It will give error. Let me show you. You see, it says not implicitly convert type double to integer. Okay. You can't initialize it like this. Can you initialize it like with the same type? Okay. And I believe we have shown everything related to a single dimension array. Now I am going to show a double dimension array. So if let's say if I want to keep matrix inside an array, how can I do that? Let's say my matrix is 3 3 3 first row. Let's make it something better. And 5 8 9 is second. So can I keep this matrix inside a single array? Okay. Yes, I can do it with double dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. So let me show you. When I put a comma here, increases the dimension count of the array. Okay, so simple. So this is, and for each dimension, I can define the dimension length. Okay, this same way. So it will be new int, and let's say the first dimension is 5 and 4 and 5 elements. So let's run the application until here to see how it is initialized. Okay, when I check it, you see now each value is represented by its dimension. So this is first dimension, and this is this let's say first row and first column. This is first row and second column. This first row and third column, like here. And let me show you the Excel example. So this is currently equal to 4, 5, 4 rows, 5 columns. 4 rows and 5 columns and 4 rows is like this. And I make it let's show it in the Word to get it more better. I'm going to add a table. There's 5 columns and 4 rows. Yes. So this is currently equals to this two-dimensional array. Okay. And each value is 0, 0, 0, 0, and all is 0 like this. And I can assign each one like this way, one by one. 0, 0 equal to 3. Okay. And I will copy paste 0, 1 equal to 1, and 0, 2 equal to 2. Then it goes to second row. 1, 0 is equal to 5, and 1, 1 is equal to 8, and 1, 2 equal to 9. Okay, let's copy paste this. And 2, 0 equal to 12, 2, 1 equal to 65, and 2, 2 equal to 86. Okay. And when I run it, I will see these values. So right now I am effectively holding the matrix I wanted. You see. So if we show it here, this is 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 5, 8, 9, 5, 8, 9, and 12, 65, and 86, 12, and 65, and 86. So this matrix is now displayed here. I could have composed my array like this as well. New int. This time I'm not going to set the dimensions, let's say with numbers, but I will define them like this. 3 to 1 and was like this perhaps. One second. So it isn't like it's like this. And it is expecting a nested array initializations and how nested array perhaps like this. Okay, yes. And 5, 8, 9, and 12, 15, 86. Okay. So let's put a breakpoint here to see. And when I check it, you see 3, 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, and 12, 65, and 86. So this is another way of initialization. And you can increase dimension count as well. For example, you can make it three-dimensional. However, I'm not sure if we can define three-dimensional with this way. Yeah, probably we can. Let's try it. And this time it will expect a nested array, so probably like this. Okay. And probably like this. Let's say, yeah, I can copy paste this to show you. Yes, now this is three-dimensional initialization. You see, okay, like this and like this. So, okay, let's separate them to make it readable. When I hover it, you see 000 is 3, 001 is 1, 002 is 2, and then it will be 01088 77. 010 is 77, 011 is 54, and 012 is 23. You see, it is going with one by one. All right. So now let's see the length parameter of arrays. So it is expecting. Okay, I need to copy paste like this. Okay. So this is first column. Okay. I'm going to print number of elements inside these arrays. Equal to line. So what will this print? This will print 20. Let's run it. You see, number of all elements inside two-dimensional array is 20. But what if I want to iterate let's say last values of each row. How can I do that? I can do it like this. Let's say I will say 4 equal to 0 and length will be equal to the first bound. Yeah, it says gets the index of the last element of the specified dimension in the array. So this will get the upper bound. Let's console write line them. Okay, and this will print 5 and this will print 4. Okay, because it has, I mean, this will print 4 and this will print 4 because this, and this will print 5 because this. And let's check it. Okay, I mean it prints 1 below because it says printing index. Yes, since it is printing the index, we have to add 1 to get the element count. Let's see, there is okay, number of element. This is better way. So this is what we want. Yeah. Now when I run it, it will print me 4 and 5 respectively. Okay, 4 and 5 elements they contain. So with this way, I am going to iterate first number of the dimension, and this way I'm going to iterate the second dimension. Okay, I'm going to name this as M, or let's make it ER first dimension, and let's make it ER second dimension. Okay, I can't int numbers. Okay, console write line, and I'm going to use a dollar sign this time for the first dimension. Or let's make it like this to make it understandable better. And this one equal to, what will it equal? It will equal to this one and second time. So basically we are iterating every value of the array at the moment. Okay. With an order we can manipulate. Let's see how it will print to the screen. I need to first stop it. You see 008 element is 3, 01 is 1, then 02 is 2, then 03 is 0, and 04 is 0. Okay. So this is how we can iterate two-dimensional array. For three-dimensional array, you can also make it like that. So this getLength method gets the dimension. Can I get the dimension count? Make this more automated? Yes, I can do that. I am going to do it for this one. So it will be get dimension for okay, so there is rank command, rank, and so this will be er rank, or let's say dimension. Okay, And since I know the dimension, I can now plot this like this. And I know the dimension, so this time I am going to get that dimension length. Okay, and I know the dimension. Okay, currently I am doing a brainstorm to write this in a simplified way, but manually. Let's say you have 100 dimension. Perhaps there is an easier solution on the internet. So these are all static. This is also the way we did for two-dimensional. Okay, looks like we are not able to. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to know. That I'm going to check it. Dimension length ranges and Cartesian product. Okay, yeah, this looks like a great solution. This is pretty complex to understand at the moment. However, should you will understand in the future. Okay, so Cartesian product is currently unavailable extension. Cartesian, the Cartesian product. What do I need? Not working anymore. And okay, so there is this method. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, collection generic and still not working. This didn't work. Perhaps. Let's try this code. You see, I am looking for a ready method to apply it to my problem, and still not working. We will just ignore this method for right now because it is pretty advanced. So how can I print each one of these elements? I can do it like this. It will let me to uh, create each array. However, I won't be able to keep indices. Keep the indices and oh, okay. With C sharp 7, I think we have this feature with a little extension. Uh, okay, let's first make this one. Per value in three-dimensional array. I'm going to console write them, or let's make it console write line. Per value. Let's see how it prints. Then I will print them with indices. Okay, you see they are printed with order I have defined. Each value. So if I change values like these, you will understand better. Let's make them different values, so don't get confused. And let's make them as right with a plus and up here. Then I'm going to console write over n. This means go to the next line. Okay, and let's run it. Okay. Okay. Now you see 3, 1, 2, 32, 3, 1, 2, 32, 8, 78, 46, 8, 78, 46. You see, this is iterating each number one by one. Okay. However, currently we are not able to know their indices. Like here. Here we know the indices. What I mean is, indices are the indexes of each value. Let me show you what I mean. So here we know the indices 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1. Because since I know that this is two-dimensional array, I can manually for each or loop through them like this. However, let's say you don't know how many dimensions array you are going to print, and you want to automatically print it with indices. In this case, you see with C# 7, there is this feature. I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy paste it like this. And the collection is this one. And it says you don't have this or this. To have that, I'm going to use this extension. This, and then I'm going to okay, and it looks like not still working. Hmm. Okay, this is not working though. Why is that? You see, in your programming life, you will always encounter with such problems. It says that it doesn't accept this. Hmm. I'm going to add another, but it should work. The item index. Okay, I suppose I have to for each one individually. So what I'm going to do is air dimension, and the dimension will be rank. And here, since I will know the dimension, I can get it like this perhaps. This is not what perhaps this one. Okay, anyway, this looks like will require us to mm, do more digging. I'm going to just ignore this. However, we have displayed how to iterate each element. Is it on that I know the dimension count? I can also make it like this. I will show you. I'm just pasting a three-dimensional array here. So if you know the dimension count of the array, let's make it like that. This. Okay, it expects me to have. Yeah, looks like I have to provide same. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so since I know the dimension count, I'm not going to change these values at the moment. I can make it like this. Actually, I can write it in the for each loop. This one. But count, and you see, I am going to dynamically code this one like this. Okay. And this will be the rank of the array. Okay, and here I am going to have three for loop inside. Okay, and this will be third dimension. Okay, and I'm just going to edit the third dimension here. Okay, like this. Okay, so it should work right now. Let's check it out. Oh, okay. We have to change the array name. This will be the third dimensional array. Okay, and this will be the third dimensional array. Okay. Oh, extensions were not working due to this. Okay, I will show you next week, hopefully, how we are going to make it. Okay, so now I am able to print a third dimensional array like this. You see 0003, 0011, 0022. Okay, this week, this is enough. Hopefully, we will continue next week. And I am going to upload the source code as always to our GitHub repository right now. Code will be on GitHub repository. Hopefully, see you next week. Please, please, please do every coding yourself at the home. Do not be lazy. Do not copy paste. Please type yourself. You will get used to typing. Run every command. Pause video, do coding, and pause video and do coding. Okay, see you later. End of lecture.